KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. It's just about 9 o'clock on Friday morning, December 7th. That means it's time, once again, for Open Mic Radio. This is Mike Hagan. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
I came in from the coast, a Tin Pan Alley ghost. Left all my love songs here, all my serenades in the rain, all my serenades in the rain. I've been feeling no pain now that I found you again, just like I did back then. Staring at stars from the gutter, staring at stars from the gutter. Annalie, Annalie, in my flying machine, remember when I could take you high? Annalie, Annalie, the moon was on fire, burning in my memory. You were killing my darlings off, killing my darlings off one at a time, killing my darlings off one at a time, killing my darlings off one at a time. Annalie, Annalie, in my flying machine, remember when I could take you high? Annalie, Annalie, the moon was on fire, burning in my memory. Killing them all after the ball. Killing them all after the ball. I came in from the coast, a Tin Pan Alley ghost. Left all my love songs here, left all my love songs here.
All right. Good morning, everybody, wherever you are, as you listen to this radio program. It's KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM, and Open Mic Radio, just a few minutes after 9 o'clock on the 7th of December. And you're listening to us in Armstrong, Hallsville, Harrisburg, McBain, Shamrock, Speed, Tipton, and maybe Wooldridge. Anyway, welcome to the program. It's Mike Hagan, and every Friday morning for an hour we delve into the best and finest local regional music and we're going to do it again this morning. That first song there was from a band called Falling Fences. They're St. Louis-based, but you may be familiar with some of the guys. That's old-timer guys from Bachman and Joe Stickley, Sean Kanan, etc. Anyway, new record from Falling Fences out in the last few months, and really great stuff, and I like it. So, let's see, what do we got to say here? A little chilly out there. Has been for the last few days, but not too bad. It's First Friday, I guess, in Columbia, so a lot going on around town today and tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Swing on by if you're down in the area, 915 East Broadway. Big thank you to the guys from the Gold Bugs for coming down last week, hanging out with me for the show. That was a riot. And also a fantastic show at PDM last Friday night, along with Big Medicine and the Ridge Runners. What a great time. Lots of friends down there, lots of fantastic music. And Nicky Goldbug, Nick Gorham also performed some of his solo material. Just great. Anyway, okay, today's program, we're going to start it off with a riddle. Okay, what do all of the following musical artists have in common? The John Galbraith Trio, Todd Day Waite, the Hootin' Hollers, Paul Weber and the Scrappers, the Daves, the Royal Furs, Ray Fitzgerald, Falling Fences, the Gold Bugs, Big Medicine, Many Colored Death. I could go on, but they all have one thing in common, and I'll tell you what that is in just a few minutes. Here's another one from local Boys Made Good. This is Oh Jolene from the Hootin' Hollers, from a record called Chillicothe Fireball a few years ago, but still great stuff. It's Mike. You're listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
I gotta find my baby, gonna give a little piece of my mind. Yeah. I'm gonna find my baby, gonna give a little piece of my mind. My baby says she loves me, but she run away all the time. My baby loved me in the morning, but she gone by the end of the day. Every day she gone. Daddy loved me in the morning, but she gone by the end of the day. Well, I may be a fool, but I love her anyway. I said, oh, Jolene, how can you treat me so mean? Oh, I know I have nothing to give you, baby, but my love, and I gave that to you, did I not? Oh, Jolene, you're the sweetest thing that I've ever seen, baby. You know I love you more than the moon and the stars up above. Now the first time I saw Jolene, she was standing by the edge of my door. I remember it like it happened yesterday. The first time I saw her, she was standing by the edge of my door. Well, the next thing I knew, she's sleeping on my bedroom floor. Now, Jolene has always been restless. I could tell when I looked into her eyes. Now she's starting to get restless. I can tell by the look in her eyes. But we're meant for each other. I hope someday she realizes.
All right, there's another one coming to you this morning on Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia, 89.5 FM. That one's called Oh Jolene. Once again, the Hoot and Hollers from their record Chillicothe Fireball, maybe 2015 or 14 or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so the answer to my riddle, and I should have opened the phone lines and given away something, but I do have a record from Paul Weber and the Scrappers that I'll probably give away at some point in the hour here. We'll just have somebody call or send me a text or something. But at any rate, before the break there, I mentioned that there were a whole bunch of different artists that had something in common. And the thing that they have in common is... I guess they all had the good fortune or the good sense to have recorded at a studio here in Columbia called Centro Cellar Studio. And my guest today is Mr. Wil Reeves. He's the man behind it all over there at Centro Cellar. And, Will, what a pleasure to have you here. I hope you have having a good morning, and I want you to know you have provided many, many hours of fantastic listening for me and lots of other folks around here. So
thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Thanks for coming down this morning. And let's start things off by saying... where you come from, or asking, I guess. Are you a Missouri guy originally?
I am a Missouri guy, a St. Louis guy, suburbs of Kirkwood area. Parents are still there, so I get to go back and visit over the holidays, and whenever we head that direction, we stop in there, and they make us some good food and take care of us. Came to Columbia, Missouri to go to college, and never really left.
Did you go to Mizzou or Columbia College?
I did go to Mizzou. Mm-hmm. I got a degree in industrial engineering.
Really?
And towards the end of that, I started playing in bands and recording, and even did a little co-op at ABB in Jeff City, and essentially realized that it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so, as an effort to stay out of the job force, I went to grad school, and as a way to kind of keep playing music and play around with this whole recording thing.
Mm-hmm. You were a musician playing in bands before you started recording seriously, right?
Yeah. I was kind of a late bloomer, too. I didn't play in my first band until college, and sort of worked my way in that way. And it was more out of just couldn't afford to go to a studio at the time. Was working with my friend Joe Stickley. Yeah. He had started writing these songs that were great, and we just wanted to do something with them. And we went to a studio, and we're paying $50 an hour, and realized that we didn't know what the heck we were doing, and didn't have enough money to keep going with it. So right about the time that some of the home recording gear was becoming more affordable, and you could do it on the computer, and Pro Tools was sort of opening up at a consumer level, and so I kind of just jumped right in with Pro Tools, and we, cut my teeth learning how to record myself and my friends, which is, I can't think of a better way to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
do you come from a musical background? Any musicians in your family, that type of thing?
My mom, she sings in the choir, and she's always had a piano. And
it's amazing how many people say that mom or dad sang in the choir.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough,
she still does too. That's great. But no, my dad, he was more of a golfer, active guy,
right.
which I enjoy too. I played golf with my dad a lot when I was young, and I
like to play golf myself,
and it was great.
Yeah, I wish I had more people to play with around here. I've been raising kids for the last 15 years, so I don't play nearly as much as I used to. And now, if I ever get a chance, I got no one to play with. I'll have to call you. Maybe
one of these days.
Swing the clubs a little bit. So, all right. So, Centro Cellar Studio over there on Austin Street. It wasn't there originally. It was.
Yeah, it was just a house. I bought the house in 2006, and I started out just recording in the house. So the band would be in the room with me, and I kind of got tired of that because I couldn't actually hear the sounds that were coming through the speakers. I could hear the band itself, but being able to separate yourself from the band's nice, because it always sounds different once that sound hits the microphone and then gets translated through the speakers. It sounds a lot different than it does in the actual room. Mm-hmm. So finding a way to capture the sound in the room and getting it to fit later on into a mix of typically many tracks,
right, is
sort of that's the art of it in itself.
Now, was the studio always there on Austin Street? Didn't you start it off actually?
Well, the name itself the band I've been playing with the longest is called Bachman, mm-hmm. and we lived together in a house on a street called El Centro,
right,
in the El Chaparral subdivision. And so my first studio was there in the basement, sort of this corner of the unfinished basement that we walled off, and put a hole through the wall and ran a snake, and I don't know. I wasn't there when the band moved out. I moved out before they did, so I don't know what the landlords. I don't know if they had a comment about that, but so that's where I got the name. It was in the basement at El Centro, and then I had a house on Worley for a little while, and then finally realized that if I wanted to actually build the studio the way I wanted to, I'd have to buy a house and sort of
kind of
that way.
mod it out yourself.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool actually. The studio is remarkable. If for people who have not had the chance maybe to go down there, the architecture inside is really cool. In fact, I had a friend who sent a note just a little bit ago here and said, ask Wil about carpentry as functional art. He sort of made that observation by seeing some of the photos that I put up above from the studio.
Yeah, I like that. I like that statement. My favorite part of acoustical treatments are you can use math and science to design and build them and configure them, but you can also just anything to take a flat wall and transform it into a multi-asymmetrical surface, so that the sound, instead of the sound hitting the wall and bouncing back in all of it in one direction, you want the sound to sort of hit and scatter in many directions and disperse the frequencies and try to eliminate the buildup of frequencies in one area of the spectrum and create a more even sound. So you can, some of the stuff in there I kind of used books and designs of old that have worked well in studios for many years, and then some of it are basically just sculptures that I sort of put into patterns on the wall, and it makes for a nice aesthetic.
It really does, yeah. All right, so what about like the technical side of it? Actually recording equipment and different microphones and amps and all that stuff. How did you kind of learn about that stuff? I mean, you've got all kinds of different stuff over there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question, because I've kind of come, I don't know if I'd say full circle, but when you first start out recording, your biggest concern is, well, this mic's not good enough for me to make a good recording, or this guitar or this amp's not good enough. And essentially the more I recorded and the more people I recorded, the more I realized that the first and foremost very important thing to have is a good song and a good musician. Like
no substitute.
Have you
for
heard
that,
of
right?
a band called the Thin Dimes? I don't think they play together anymore, but they have this I can't remember his name, a really young upright bass player. He's just phenomenal. He's touring the country now, touring the world, playing with other jazz musicians. But I had this upright bass that actually belongs to Lou Nevins, but it was in there at the time, and I'm like, oh, when I play it, it's just an old crappy bass. It doesn't sound very good. I even put some new strings on it, and I asked him to play it for me and tell me what he thought about it, and he picks it up and plays it, and it sounds awesome. It sounds so good. I'm like, oh, it's not the bass. So that's a pretty good example of like what I've learned over the years in the studio is it's nice to have a variety of mics that can create different textures of sounds, and getting to the point where you understand what each one can do and think maybe this one would work better on this instrument and this one would work better on this amp. That's pretty much where the time and the hours comes into play and your ears learning. But
and I guess that's sort of the production side of it, because you have to know what the band and what the producer are looking for, what sound you want, and then you can kind of tailor it toward that.
Yeah, and you have to be in that position of been down the road enough times where you're mixing and you're thinking ahead now. Well, I know when I'm going to be mixing this bass with this kick drum or these guitars with this particular vocal. You have to kind of think ahead about how it's all going to like weave together and whether or not this is going to step all over this and like I said, it's nice to have really good microphones and really good gear, but it's not necessary. That stuff is more just like having a variety of good tools to work with. And
you still got to know how to use the tool.
Yeah, you still got to know how to use it, and as long as you can, think creatively about how the sounds are all going to fit together, usually you can make it work.
All right. Let's take a break here. I'm going to play another piece of music, okay, and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. We have another guest in the studio who I'm glad stopped in this morning. His name is Tony Lotvin. You may remember him from a few weeks ago. He was here. We played some music from Tony, but he also is a a birthday man today. So happy birthday, Tony.
Happy birthday, Tony.
Thank you. And when we come back, we'll go and do a rundown of some of the things that are happening around town this evening, one of which is the Fried Crawdaddies down there at Rose for happy hour. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we come back. And in the meantime, we're going to hear one from Todd DeWaite and his Pigpen. It's a nice little holiday tune called I'm Trimming My Christmas Tree with Tears.
I'm trimming my Christmas tree with teardrops, crying 'cause my darling's far away. Said she sent back her presents and said we had to part. A million icy snowflakes have fallen on my heart. I'm throwing my dreams onto the fire. I'm watching them burn and disappear. I'm trimming my Christmas tree with teardrops. There'll be no Merry Christmas this year. I'm throwing my dreams onto the fire. I'm watching them burn and disappear. I'm trimming my Christmas tree with teardrops. There'll be no Merry Christmas this year.
All right, there's one from Todd DeWaite's Pigpen. That one's called I'm Trimming My Christmas Tree with Tears. I know Todd did a little work with you back in the day, huh, Will?
Yeah, he came in with his band and the Pigpen. They all came in. They had that big old bus.
Yeah.
And that thing was pretty cool, actually. They came in and they're fun to work with because they do it all live. And they're kind of just looking to capture that sort of that special take that has certain pieces of magic in it. But yeah, I would love to have them back sometime.
All right, so we have talked about Falling Fences when we were off the air there, but that's a project that involves Sean Kanan and is it Joe Stickley?
Yeah, so I mentioned Joe Stickley earlier. That's the whole reason I'm in recording is because of Joe, and he's still coming in and recording albums with me, which is really great. It's been a great thing to kind of keep pushing me forward too. I get them back in here, and he keeps progressing as a songwriter as well, and so it's been nice to, I guess, experience that evolution of he and I together.
I remember back in the Bachman days, in the early days, but also there's a record that comes to mind right now. It's called The Eagle and the Pearl. Was a Joe Stickley record.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a fantastic album all the way through, and that's probably 10 years old. I'll bet.
I guess by now it is.
Something like that. So anyway, great stuff. What about Jack Grelly? Have you done any recording with him? He's one of my favorites now out of St. Louis.
Yeah, Jack's awesome. He's come in and they recorded an entire album, I think, in 2 days. Again, like all live with a few overdubs the following day, and then some mixing after the fact, but like real quick and came out beautiful. Jack Gurley, it was at the time it was Jack Gurley and the Johnson family.
And the family, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's what it still goes by or not, but yeah, Jack's really amazing guy, and he's always kind of pushing forward too. They actually shot a couple videos in the backyard. We did a live recording of the band playing in the backyard at the studio, and I multi-tracked it.
Yeah, cool.
You can probably find those on YouTube somewhere.
Right on. All right, Tony, so happy birthday.
Thanks.
And are you and Will familiar?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever done
He played on the Daves?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the days was really, it was right after I switched from alto to tenor. So I still getting used to the tenor, but the sound, I love all the wood and what it does to acoustic instruments.
Amazing in there.
Really, really nice.
Yeah. All right, what do you got going tonight?
Well, we're doing a birthday party at First Friday, happy hour at Rose Music Hall at the Crawdaddies, and
Awesome.
we'll be doing a couple sets worth of original music, some tunes off of the CD we're working on now, and some of our other one, and then a few Jerome Wheeler tunes. Oh, there you go. and we'll have a whole bunch of delicious cupcakes. No cake. My wife went for cupcakes. That way we don't have to mess around with plates and cutting and all that stuff. Just lay out the cupcakes and go for it.
All right, sounds good. And that'll be getting going, about 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock, yeah.
All right, about 5 o'clock tonight down there at Rose Music Hall. Catch the fried crawdaddies, and Tony will be blowing the horn down there, and probably a lot of people coming down to say hello, I imagine.
Yeah, we usually get a really, really good crowd down there for happy hours, even during the winter.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I'll be down there. Stick around for a minute. I think Dave may be stopping by.
Oh, nice.
Dave Angle, that is. He just sent me a note. So anyway, a little bit more about what's going on tonight, and then we'll get back to Will here. At the Blue Note, we've got the movie Elf tonight with Will Ferrell. And I guess it's probably something that has to do with Logboat, because it says Christmas Brew and View. And knowing Logboat, they're the ones that are probably
That's
involved.
my wife's favorite Christmas movie.
I love that movie, too. Will Ferrell just cracks me up.
She just likes the part where he gets hit by the car. She'll rewind it.
All right. So that's happening tonight. Tomorrow night at the Blue Note, Silent Night, a winter silent disco. I don't know what that means.
Have you heard of the silent discos?
No. Is there any music involved?
I haven't seen one, but it sounds really fascinating to me. It's where everyone wears headphones and essentially everybody's listening to the same thing.
Oh, they're all listening to the same thing.
And so if you go into where the venue, all you see are people just kind of dancing around, and probably all you hear is stomping.
Wow, how strange.
Maybe even singing. I think they're encouraged to sing too.
Right on.
But yeah.
Okay, so now we know what that is. The silent disco tomorrow night, the winter silent disco. That's happening at the Blue Note. We just mentioned Rose tonight, fried crawdaddies at happy hour. That'll start about 5, go till, 7 or so, Tony?
Yeah.
All right, and then later tonight at Rose, the Rose Risque number 12, the St. Louis Invasion. I think that's a burlesque show. Is that right? I'm looking at Diana because she normally covers this sort of stuff. But anyway, I think it is burlesque, and that's happening later on tonight at Rose. And by the way, stick around for Speaking of the Arts at 10 o'clock with the lovely Diana Moxon. She'll be on the air in about a half an hour, and I'm sure she'll give you an update on what's happening for First Friday. Is that right? Yeah, for sure. Okay, Roachport General Store tonight. What's on the music calendar there? Oh, December the 7th, Sarah and Mark. Not sure who that is. And anybody familiar? Sarah and Mark?
I haven't heard them. Mark's been around for a long time.
Huh.
He plays in Planet Jazz and multi-instrumentalist. Really good player.
Okay. All right, so Sarah and Mark tonight at Roachport, and the Boone Howlers tomorrow. They're a lot of fun. And what else? One more thing. Let's see what's happening in Berlin, and then we'll let Diana pick it up from there when she gets on the air a little bit later. Darkroom Records Showcase, that was a couple days ago.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, those guys are great. One of the songs I'm going to play a little bit later is by this band Blackwater, who did some recording with Will recently. I think they're still in the...
Yeah, they're still working on it.
Right? Anyway, they sent me some of the demos that they've been working on. There's one that's called I Got Groove. I'm going to play that in a little bit. But these are young guys. We're talking 17, 18 years old maybe, and real skilled players, and they're involved with that whole darkroom scene and the Hickman Academy of Rock and all that.
Yeah,
so.
I'm very familiar with all that.
Yeah. What's your connection to that? You probably mentioned it a couple weeks ago.
Well, all the people that run Dark Room. Of course, my son both my sons were involved with Academy of Rock when Phil Overeem was still at Hickman and started it, and did the Battle of the Bands and all that. But all the guys that are running the studios now at Hickman and Rockbridge and Battle and at the Boys and Girls Club, they all, when they were teenagers, they all were in my garage all the time because we had all the garage bands going on at my house.
That's awesome.
And now I'm seeing them picking up the reins, and they're fantastic. It was really a nice show. I was really pleased to go down there and enjoy all those kids.
Well, one thing that I want to ask Will about after I do this quick wrap-up with Cafe Berlin. Okay, tonight, the Comancheros with Austin Vaughn, and then tomorrow night, Bardock, Skooma, Pickwick, Commons, and Devourers. That's a rock and roll metal show tomorrow night. I'm not sure the Comancheros. Anybody familiar with them?
Those guys work out at Palin. They do. There's not all of them, but some of them, and it's pretty much country band.
All right.
And they country rock band, and they do well. They sound really good.
There's some skilled players that hang around down there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's what's going on around town, and get out there and do something. It's going to be a little chilly tonight, but clear, and probably a nice night to get out and do something fun. So take advantage of First Friday and all the good music that's happening around town. All right. Okay, so Will, we were just talking about some of the young kids, and you've been in the scene now for a long time, both as a musician, as a producer, recorder, engineer, all that stuff. What do you make of the local regional scene?
Oh, I think there's a lot of exciting bands right now. The young ones, where I'm like, they're better now than I will ever be. There's a band called the Sweaters.
I had them on the air a few weeks ago.
We're getting ready to do a little mixing to finish up their EP that they recorded recently. And
I think Ben, is there a young man named Ben in the band?
Yeah, Ben and Henry are brothers, and Anders is the bass player, and a son of Aaron Harms, who has recorded quite a bit with me, with Noah Earl, and with his project, The Late Night Benedictions.
Right.
And yeah, really excited for them. Still trying to get Kyron and the adaptation to come in.
Right.
But I've kind of just he's been doing a lot of experimentation on his own, and I'm still pushing him to do that too, because he's got lots of fun ideas, and hopefully we'll get him in the studio at some point. Those are the two that come to mind, other than Blackwater.
Right.
I'm not terribly dialed in. I kind of live in my own in the bubble of the studio of who's coming in.
Comes in, right.
Yeah, but yeah, it seems like there is a lot of, especially with the Darkroom Records thing going on, a lot of great up and coming musicians.
Now let's talk about the Hoot and Hollers for a minute, and then I want to talk about Paul Weber and the Scrappers. Hoot and Hollers obviously just really blowing up in a lot of ways, doing really well, playing to big crowds out there, out and about. That little tour they did with the Dead South last month was pretty impressive. And didn't they record a live album recently? Did you do some of the work on that?
Yeah, so I don't know if it was the last time I played the Blue Note. I guess maybe it was. But yeah, we did a live multi-track recording of that Blue Note show, and Chelsea Myers,
Tiny Attic
captured some video, and so I think we just put out like 2 or 3 videos. Chelsea and I have been working together on a project called Cellar Attic, which I'm actually really excited about. I'm glad to be able to talk about it here. Essentially, we've been doing these live shoots in the video where the band comes in and does a live performance. I capture multi-track, and she captures video and a couple different cameras, and then we just kind of put it out on our little Facebook/YouTube channel under Cellar Attic.
Attic, right.
And it's been pretty cool so far.
Well, Chelsea's great, and the videos that I've seen are fantastic. She must have had cameras on everything for that Hoot and Holler shoot.
Yeah, I didn't even realize at the time until I watched the video. She had I think a GoPro strapped to John's lap steel for at least 1 or 2 of the songs.
Right, she had one on Kelly's
cool.
saxophone, I think, at one point too.
Yeah, that's great.
Anyway, all right, that's great stuff. They're going to be here, by the way, on the 21st of December. They're playing, I think it's at Rose, actually.
It is at Rose,
right? But anyway, they'll be here in the studio that morning. That's a Friday. So Friday morning, December the 21st, John and Andy. I don't think Kelly will be in town yet, but John and Andy will be here. And this is an open invite to pretty much all of the gang. We're going to have a Christmas party that morning. So, if you're out and about Friday, December the 21st, come on down. You can hang out with me and Andy and John and whoever else comes down, and we'll do something fun that morning. And they're going to be playing that night at Rose, which will be essentially the album release party for the record that you're talking about, right, Will?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's called Live in Missouri is what they're calling it. So anyway, that's fantastic. I can't wait for it. Those guys are doing great. Paul Weber and the Scrappers. You said this is an example of sometimes musicians record their own stuff and then bring it to you, and you kind of put the final touches on.
Yeah. So they recorded their tracks out at the Dome, which is a very unique space. If you haven't seen it, it is exactly what it sounds like.
Yep, Joe Dames' place out there in
big
Ashland.
geodesic dome, and it's talk about character. It's got a lot of character and aesthetic and sound,
and the people who live there,
and they just kind of set up and I think experimented a little bit with some miking and getting a couple different sounds that seemed to work for them, and then they brought it all to me, and we kind of glued it together and made it sound whole.
All right, and that's a great record. I think we'll play something from them a little bit later as well. I'm running out of time here. I want to play all this stuff, but I also want to mention that Blackwater, who we're going to play a song from in a minute here, they're actually playing tomorrow night. They're opening for a show at Rose with some bands called Chemical Mass and Echoes of the Giants. Apparently there's an album release party happening tomorrow night. Blackwater will be opening for that show. So with that in mind, there's a nice segue to play a song by Blackwater. And this isn't completely finished, but it's one that has been or is being worked on down at your studio.
Yeah.
Well, all right, this one's called I Got Groove. You listen to it on Open Mic Radio, KOPN Columbia. Back in a few minutes with Wil Reeves and Tony Lotvin.
And if you let me sing, I'll show it to you. Come on. I got skill. Just let me rock it. Play the music right until the break of dawn.
All right, there's one from Blackwater. That was called I Got Groove. It sure does. That's good stuff. Will, nice job.
Thank you.
It's not even done yet. You're sitting there going, I heard a couple things I want to tweak on that one. All right, so great new music and young, talented musicians coming out of the Columbia, Missouri scene. I love it. And let's see, Tony, we've got your thing tonight at Rose. Once again, Fried Crawdaddies and Tony's birthday party at 5 o'clock down there at Rose. What else you got coming up, Will?
Oh, in the studio?
Yeah, anything worth talking about?
I'm getting ready to go record Ray Fitzgerald. She's working on, they just finished the Raffco album.
Right, more of a rock and roll angle for that one.
Yeah, and she's working on some, I guess you could just say it's a solo project, or more of a laid-back bedroom type project. We like to call these ones a little more scaled down. Didn't
you do a cellar attic with?
Yeah, Raffco's got they've got a cellar attic. I think it's on the feed the feed.
Yeah, it's really good actually, and Ray is someone who I'm extremely enthusiastic about. I think she's super talented. I love her songwriting, and I think she has a beautiful voice, and she's really got she's a great songwriter.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
I met her through Lucas Oswald many years ago, and I was really, really excited when I found out she was moving to Columbia from Kirksville. So
yeah,
it's been great having her here.
I think we've got about 15 minutes left, and I want to get 2 more songs in. So we're going to do this real quick. I'm going to take care of a quick piece of business here, and then we're going to play one from Ray Fitzgerald, and then we'll come back and chat with Will and Tony for a few more minutes. It's Mike. You're listening to KOPN Columbia, and this is Open Mic Radio.
I wanna be the name you call to your sick bed. When medicine fails to calm you, I'll be left, holding the light of God, living the dark of man, wrapping my cards in red, kissing your tired hand. I wanna make a toast, but my throat's too raw and red. The goodness we down is hard, is all the bad. They say that the light of God stifles the dark of man. I stand in the shadow, illuminated. Tell you that his voice is just inside your head. I see you hit the water and sink as hard as lead. Honey, rest in the light of God. Honey, those were the darkest days. Copper and Genesis, blame 'em for your mistakes. I leave aside for the light of day, a blinding headache all of the way. What good is the truth when you're dead anyway? Hey,
right, there's a lovely one from Miss Ray Fitzgerald. That's from a record called Popular Songs for Wholesome Families. I've played a lot of that over the last few months. Really like that stuff. And that's really cool that Ray's back in the studio, Will.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, good morning to my friends from the Waste Management Gang. They always come by Friday morning. They're a little late this morning, but I hope they listen. I think they listen to the program, and I think they get a kick out of it when they come down the alley and make a bunch of racket for us. So anyway, good morning, everybody. It's Mike. You've been listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia. I've had Wil Reeves, the owner, operator, and the brains and the ears behind Centro Cellar Studios here in Columbia. Fantastic stuff coming out of Centro Cellar for many, many years now, and really thrilled to have you down. Well, thank you again for coming down today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Also, Tony Lotman's been sitting in with us for a little bit here. Tony's birthday is today, and he's a fantastic musician in his own right, and he'll be playing some music tonight at the Rose Music Hall around 5 o'clock. We've got happy hour with Fried Crawdaddies.
That's right. And tomorrow night,
what's going on
back
tomorrow
to
night?
back, we'll be in Jeff City at the Mission.
Oh, cool.
And I also should...
The Crawdaddies?
The Crawdaddies, yeah.
Okay, all right.
And starting at 8:30. And I also should mention this weekend at my house, my wife is having her 25th open house for her gourd art. And so we'll have guests through our house all weekend. What happens when a musician marries an artist.
Well, you know, she was here on Diana's show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, with
may have been,
Fall into Art.
Yeah, I think it was the same day that you were here, actually. But
it was.
Your wife's a very talented woman. Her art is really cool.
She is.
Yeah. All right. So lots of stuff going on this weekend. It's First Friday tonight. Lots and lots of things to do. Get out there and enjoy yourself and do something fun. All right. I will say goodbye to my friends here. Thanks again. And we'll talk to you soon. Well, I'll come down one of these days when we got something cool going on. I think.
Like a Christmas party, right, on the 21st?
Yes, for sure. Put that on your calendar, Tony, and come on back down here, okay? But Tim Carey and I were talking, and when the Ridge Runners do their next thing, I'm going to come down and hang out for a little while.
Oh, great,
I think.
yeah.
So, anyway, all right, fantastic. Once again, information about Centro Cellar on the web, right?
Yeah, CentroCellarStudio.com. There's a Facebook for it. Can't say that I'm too great about checking it, but you can get all my contact info on the website. And, yeah, feel free to get a hold of me if you're interested in putting some sound in there.
Okay, and the website's really cool, as a matter of fact. There's a lot of great photos, and you can connect up to some of the artists that have recorded there. There's videos, there's a lot of different stuff, and the photos from the studio are actually pretty cool. Anyway, all right, thanks again, Will.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Tony, take care of yourself. All right, everybody, it's Mike, and we've got a few minutes left here. I want to mention what's happening in the next couple weeks. I will be gone next week. I got to be up in Chicago. My friend, the lovely Sarah Catlin, will be sitting in for me, and she is going to have a band on with her that's called the Weepies. And they'll be calling in by phone, and they are a singer-songwriter pair. I think they're married, Deb Talon and Steve Tannen, but really interesting stuff. And she'll be playing some music from the Weepies and talking with them over the telephone about their life in the music world. So stick around for that, or I should say tune back in next Friday for that, and stick around in about 7 minutes for Diana Moxon's program called Speaking of the Arts. And I'm not sure what exactly Diana has in store for you today, but I'm sure it'll be fun and interesting. And when I come back, let's see, like I said, it'll be the 21st of December, so we'll have the Hoot and Hollers here in the studio, and we're also going to invite a bunch of other people down. We'll play a bunch of good music, and we'll have a little celebration for the holiday season here. After that, I don't know, I got a band called Crooked Fix that's coming in sometime after the first of the year. We've got the Flood Brothers. We've got Ray Fitzgerald actually is going to come down and do some radio once she gets some of this recording done over at Will's. Mm-hmm. And Austin Jones and the Boot Heel Boys. Austin and I have been still trying to get our schedules together, but we'll get him on the air one of these days. And, that's about it. What else do I have to say? For me, contact Mike Hagan at MikeHagan.com. Very simple. If you want to email me, if you have ideas for future guests, if you have advice that I may or may not want, anything that you have that you think might be interesting for me, you can send it to me in email at MikeHagan at MikeHagan.com. And you can also check me out on the web at MikeHagan.com. I do another program that's called Radio Orbit, which is a late night show from 11 o'clock until 2 a.m. on Monday nights. And and that's a little bit of a different feel. We do a lot of talk and interviewing, but we wrap music throughout the whole program, and you might enjoy that show as well. This coming Monday, I will have an artist from Brisbane, Australia on with me. His name is Josh Galletley. He's a brilliant visual artist that does a lot of work with hardwoods and acrylics, and he's also very good friends with one of the guys from Portishead, who now has a musical project called Beak. So we'll be featuring music from Beak for the whole night on Monday. That's coming up this coming Monday at 11 o'clock. All right. In the meantime, enjoy yourselves. Be cool, and be cool to other people out there as well. I'm going to play one from Jack Grelly here. This one's called Hard Thing to Describe. It's an absolutely beautiful song. I think this was recorded at Will's place. One of the earlier recordings with, what do they call, the Johnson family? Johnson family, yeah, Jack Grelly and the Johnson family. So enjoy this one. We'll have one from Paul Weber on the Scrappers after this, and then Diana Moxon with Speaking of the Arts. Thanks again, everybody. It's Mike. You've been listening to Open Mic Radio on KOPN Columbia.
No, across the ocean you dine with kings, straying alone in jungles and swam with wild things. Well, I too, baby, walked down a few roads, been alone for so long, think it's starting to show. Written a few love songs, this one's for you. Maybe it could be your saving grace just for the afternoon. I may not be good with love, but I'm willing to give it a try, only if that's what you decide. And you're telling me you feel dead inside, and I'm telling you that I understand. I'm not asking you to change your life, maybe in just try and hold my hand. It's been a long time since it was just us two. Could sit here for a while and stare at the moon, talking till the sun rises over our heads. If you like, we could go swinging instead. I've written a few love songs, this one's for you. Maybe it could be your saving grace just for the afternoon. Warm your heart, let you know that you're alive. Well, it can be a hard thing to describe. And you're telling me you feel dead inside, and I'm telling you that I understand. I'm not asking you to change your life, maybe in just try and hold my hand. Maybe in just try and hold my hand.
1, 2, 3. Folks around here work till they die, filling up the silos up in the sky. It's been that way since it began, trying to make a living on the land. Tired old trucks, tired old dogs, musty old trailers, firewood logs. It's a good way to live, a hard way to go. The country shrinks as the cities grow. People fly over, people look down, the big green fields and the little gray towns. Going to work, going to church, doing what we know for what it's worth. People fly over, people look down, big green fields and the little gray towns. Going to work, church, doing what we know for what it's worth. Little towns where life moves slow, people come but mostly go. Kids they leave, grandmas don't. Say they'll visit, but they won't. Land goes up, people sell farms. Up go the houses, down go the barns. Clear the trees, pave up the roads. Brand new cars, mortgage loans. People fly over, people look down at the big green fields.